I mean, as an investment banker, that is a red flag.
You know, one of my friends actually heard about CBEX. Regardless of the amount that you're bringing into any investment, you should be treated fairly.
And I'm sure that your friend should be the one that should be thanking you.
Yes.
My mother-in-law got into an investment, right? And then we got talking one night. My wife was listening to our conversation. I didn't even know she was listening. She was like, "Oh, what were you talking with mommy?" I said, "Your mother is my client."
Yes.
I am not. You're my wife, yes, but I'm not obligated to give you that information. Hello guys, this is Chuka Nwachukwu. Welcome to Investment Talk with Chuka. As an investor, what are your rights and what are the things you need to know for you to invest? Let's discuss. You know, as an investor, it's not just enough for you to have money. It's not just enough for you, to have the ideas, right? But there are some very important things that you need to know. So today, I have an expert in the house. Femi, welcome.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you so much, Femi, for joining us. This whole thing about investment, right? What I've found out about most people is that, they just have money and they want to invest. But again, what exactly are you investing in? Have you done your homework? What are the things that will make your investment what it ought to be? And I thought it's why to bring someone like you here to be able to, educate us so that we don't fall into the pitfalls and make mistakes that some of us have made. Actually, I've made such mistakes in the past. So Femi, please, can you just enlighten us?
Okay, so thank you very much for having me. As an investor, when you invest in stocks, you invest in bonds, real estate, and
Absolutely, yeah.
You always expect transparency.
Yeah.
You always expect quality.
Yeah.
And you also expect value for what you are investing.
Yeah.
So there are different rights that an investor should learn about.
Yeah.
Right. The first is the right to be informed.
Okay.
So as an investor, your investment provider is supposed to give you every information that you need to know about an investment.
Okay.
What are the risks that are involved in that investment?
Yeah.
What is the ROI, and what do you need to do in order for you to enjoy that investment? So the first right here is the right to be informed. There should be no hidden charges, because if those charges are actually backed by regulation, why should they be hidden?
Exactly.
Right. For example, if you maybe take a loan to facilitate an investment, your bank is supposed to tell you that, this is going to be the percentage you're going to be paying back monthly.
Yeah.
So if they do not inform you, you won't be able to make quality decisions about
Yeah.
your funds.
So there's sometimes when most bankers, right, or should I use the word now, most institutions, because not only bank gives facilities, right, and they said, no hidden charges. You understand? I mean, I got into banking. There was this advert in the 80s. There's this bank called UBT, so he said no hidden charges, no this. And it is when I got into banking, I got to know that there are actually some hidden charges that are not disclosed, and which is a problem, right?
Yes. So that's why before you go into any investment, or before you take funds to do an investment, you should make sure that they disclose everything that it is with the facility.
Yeah.
Full disclosure is actually very important.
It's a problem for me because I have a practical experience, right? So I got into investment with a very close friend of mine. There's one lesson that I want viewers to learn from this. Never go into investment based on emotion. You can't just say, this person is my friend, and so therefore you negate some little things,
Very
right?
important things, yeah.
So we got into this investment, and a lot of things were not disclosed. I didn't even know that the company I was investing into had some facilities that were not disclosed. And so it became a big issue. It became a trust issue. I lost interest in the investment, and then it became a huge problem. And so for me, I do not want people to make the same mistake that I made, right? So it's very important that people get to know the A to Z, irrespective. It can be, even if it's your twin brother.
Yeah.
Make sure you understand. You see, what saved me was because I got my lawyer involved from day one, right? So most importantly, you must legalize everything, right? Make sure that everything that you're involved in, you have your attorney gets you from day one, from the onset. Otherwise, I mean, if I hadn't got my lawyer involved from day one, then I would have been in a big mess.
Yeah.
So disclosure is very important.
Yes, full disclosure. If they do not disclose purposefully, you would actually fall into some pitfalls.
Yeah.
So the second right you have here is the right to choose.
Okay.
Right. So if you have an investment provider, they're supposed to tell you the plethora of products that they have, so that you can choose from those products. Right. And they're not supposed to force any product on you. If they have different products for different amounts, they're supposed to bring it to the fore and then allow you make your choice. That's the right to choose. Right to be treated fairly. Regardless of the amount that you're bringing into any investment, you should be treated fairly. And one party should not be treated maybe with favor over the other party based on the amount they are bringing into that investment.
So it's all boils down to sentiment again.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, just to add to what you're saying, it's always important that look, if you're getting into investment and your partnership, let's use the word now, because most of this issue has to do with partnership. If you're getting into partnership with someone, most especially somebody you know, I keep saying this: sentiment should be set aside. Yeah. So the question of one person feeling that you're doing me a favor, it has nothing to do with it. That's the most important thing, right?
Yeah. So another right that you have is the right to confidentiality.
Okay.
At every point in time, your investment provider is supposed to keep your information safe, except they are required by law to give out that particular information.
Okay.
So maybe someone cannot just come from nowhere and then ask your investment provider, how much has this person invested in this business?
Yeah.
Or what's the ROI of this person? Your information is supposed to be kept safely, and at no point in time should that be given out. So after this right, I think we should also discuss about responsibility.
Yeah, so but let me just add to that now. Confidentiality is very key. And that is why, as an investment banker, I am telling most of my colleagues out there, right? You know, it's important that we are very professional.
Yes.
Right? So I'll give you an example, right? So my mother-in-law got into an investment, right? And then we got talking one night. My wife was listening to our conversation. I didn't even know she was listening. She was like, "Oh, what were you talking with mommy?" And I said, "Oh, mommy just she wanted to do some investment, and I'm just giving her advice." "Oh, what is investment all about?" I said, "Your mother is my client."
Yes.
I am not. You're my wife, yes, but I'm not obligated to give you that information. That is confidentiality. Because you have to be, you know, professional at all times. And then a lot of my colleagues as an investment banker made that mistake. You know, I just needed to portray that point here.
Yes. So now over to your responsibility as an investor.
Yeah.
The number one key responsibility that I would first point out is the responsibility to carry out due diligence.
Absolutely.
Before you venture into any investment.
Yeah.
You should read about the investment you're going into.
Yeah.
You should know what the risks are. And then even if the investment provider has already given you the information, it's your duty to know and to understand what it is that they are telling you.
Yeah.
I'll give an example of this famous investment scheme that just came up.
The one I just people just
I'll just point out CBEX, for example.
Okay.
So, you know, one of my friends actually heard about CBEX and he brought it to me, and then he says, "Oh, I heard about this investment.
Yeah.
People are putting in dollars into it, and then they're getting ×3 of their investment."
Yeah.
Right. And then I told him, he said, "Oh, people have been making money." So I told him, I said, "Wait, let me go and do my due diligence on this and to study on it, to know what it is about before we put our money into it." Because the first question I asked was, what are they really doing that is making this money multiply by 3, by 4, by 5? So when I read about it, and then I found out that they've been changing names from country to country, and then they've been folding up, and then they've been getting people to pay more money to even collect back their money.
Wow.
So now I just told him, I said, "This is an investment scam here. Don't let us put our money into it." And then that's how it just happened. And then in 2 weeks, CBEX actually folded up.
And I'm sure that your friend should be the one that should be thanking you.
Yes.
You know, because the truth is this, I mean, in all fairness, you know, when I hear people say, "Look, I'm getting into this investment, right? And I'm going to make, I have a return of about 100, 200, 150, 200% interest. And I'm wondering, as an investment banker, that is a red flag. And that is why I never got into the so-called MMM thing.
Yeah.
Because there's some certain things. It's just like when somebody wakes up and says, "Look, there's this baba that does money double." And I'm asking myself, the same, if you see the people who are into this so-called
money doubling
thing, they're as wretched and as poor as ever. And you ask yourself, so is it that the ritual only work cannot be used for you understand, so it just boils down to the fact that number one, I don't want to use the word ignorance, right? Number two, as a young risk officer, because before I got into investment banking, I was in risk management, and then we used to have this thing about, look, when you get defrauded, it's because you're a greedy person.
Yeah.
And that was just what I had in mind. Later on you get to understand that, look, some people out of ignorance and all that, but 70% of people who get defrauded, for my own thinking, then is because you are a greedy person. I'll give you an example. So when the ATM card was introduced in Nigeria, that was in the 2008, 2009. Yeah, and then there was this card called a virtual card. Virtual card is basically preloaded card, so it's not linked to any account, right? So there was this promo, we told you, one of the major telecom company, I wouldn't want to mention names, right? And they had this card they were doing with one of the banks then, and then they bought like a promo, right? So as a risk officer, then some people got defrauded, and then when you have the case and then you go, what happened? Oh, I got a text message that I have won 10 million. So the first question I asked is, I said, did you play any early lottery or another? He said no. I said, so how on earth will you get a text message and you won 10 million? So that alone tells that, look, most people who get defrauded are either greedy or people who just don't want to come into with reality. But these days they say, oh, it's poverty, but I don't think so. I think it's all about the experience.
Yeah. So another responsibility is you should monitor your investment. Like it's not enough for you to invest in something and then you are not keeping your eyes on it, monitoring it, reading news about it, and finding out what is going on in the market for you to know if you should pull out of it or you can continue. I'll give an example. When this farm investment came up, right? And we're even sharing that even before this our session. So then I remembered about one of my friends that actually did it. I did it too. That farm investment, I did it. And when I put my money into it, because why I even put the money into it was because they said they were insured by Leadway Assurance.
Okay.
Right? And then we could actually check that, okay, yes, they were insured. That was the reason why I put my money into it. But when I was now getting information about it, because I kept on monitoring it, reading about it, and then I got information that this investment scheme is about to fold up. And then I pulled out of it.
Oh, and you put that before?
I pulled out of it because I was monitoring.
You're lucky.
Right. And then there was one of my friends that we did it together.
Yeah.
And then I told him, I said, I'm getting information that these people, they're about to fold up. Let's pull out our money from it. And so that we can say, okay, we are closing this chapter.
Yeah.
So he said, oh, they are insured. I will keep doing it and this thing. And lo and behold, he has lost his money to it now.
Wow.
I'm sure he's going to watch this episode and then he'll be like, it's me you're talking about. All right. So you should make sure that you monitor your investment from time to time.
Yeah. So, guys, there's so much on risk that we can talk about. We just have to point out these few pointers to help us, because at the end of the day, the risk is on you, right? As an investment banker, my is to advise. The onion is on you to take the advice, right? Yeah. So Femi, I want to thank you for this exciting episode. I will call you back again because we still have a lot to discuss, right? So guys, here we have it. Till we meet again, this is your investment advisor Chuka Nwachukwu. Bye bye for now. Thank you.